today's episode of the KGI Podcast, we are featuring Yash Ravishankar, who graduated from the Master of Business and Science program in 2015. He now serves as a manager for Amgen in the area of business analytics and information. Originally from Chennai, India, Yash visited KGI earlier this month to talk with KGI students about his current role at Amgen, and he also shared advice about career pathways in industry. Thanks so much, Yash, for joining us on the podcast. And to begin, I'd like to ask you where you work and what types of responsibilities are involved in your position.
I work at Amgen, and right now I'm the forecasting manager for BAI. So BAI stands for Business Analysis and Information, and my responsibility is I do projections, revenue projections for Amgen in a lot of their pipeline assets and early stage products.
And through your talk today to the students, what were some of the key takeaways that you wanted to pass along to the students, and how was the talk overall received?
It was quite well received. I had a diverse group, starting from students from engineering to people who are interested in marketing. So I had the whole gamut of students, and the key takeaway I want students to go with from today's talk is just KGI provides you a lot of transferable skills for the industry. All you need to add on to that is make sure that you kind of know what's happening in the field. It's like pick a bunch of companies that you're interested in, follow what's happening with them pretty closely so that you have a starting point if you want to get employed in one of these companies during your interviews.
And before we get into more specifics about your role, how has Amgen been a good fit for you?
Amgen's been great, and it's a good transfer from KGI to Amgen. Amgen has it's kind of laid back, and they value your personal time. So the work-life balance is pretty awesome with Amgen, and also the benefits is good, and the health insurance is good. So it's a great place to work for. And a lot of people who've started with Amgen been there for like 20-25 years, which is a very good sign for the company.
And I saw that your job title changed in November. How did your role shift, and was there a key person there that helped you adjust to the change?
I moved on from competitive intelligence to forecasting, both in oncology. My director, Nandini Jha, she is the oncology forecasting director at Amgen. She's been a key person in my transition. She's been real guide in telling what's some of the key aspects in forecasting. It involves a lot of project management, knowing a little bit about the field, which I got from competitive intelligence, and also a lot about financial modeling. So I was trained adequately with some programs called Train the Street, which is a Wall Street program for finance personnel. So that helped me with the transition in the new role.
And you touched on this a little bit earlier, but once joining Amgen, what skills from KGI were you able to apply immediately to that first job?
So I did mention it in my talk earlier. So I broadly classified into like science, business, and then some soft skills. Science, based on all my projects at KGI, right from my initial team project to projects I did for IVD, all of the projects looked at different aspects of drug development, which was highly transferable to my job at Amgen. And then the business, the key aspect of business is I know how to look at financial models and read companies' documents, the 10K statements, which I learned at KGI, which was pretty useful when I was looking into like competitors' profile in my first role at Amgen. And a lot of the soft skills like project management, how to work in a team, how to meet deliverables and deadlines, which was a really good transition that I was able to take from KGI to Amgen.
And looking further down the line, whether it's 10 or 20 years, where do you see your career heading?
So I want to see the whole gamut of biotech industry. I'm right now in a lot of long-term strategic role, looking at where the company will be heading 10 years from now. I want to move to a region-based role, say a US forecaster or a US marketer as a next role, which would be like a couple of years from now. And eventually I want to go into a sales role to end up selling Amgen's drug to the end customers so that I get a good perspective about long-term strategic, short-term tactical, and as well as the ultimately selling Amgen's product. This is how I see the next 10 years. And then after that, we'll take that from there.
And reflecting on your time here in Claremont at KGI, how did you first become interested in the school?
So I stumbled upon KGI by chance. I was looking for an MBA program with a concentration in biotechnology. But when I looked at the program KGI had to offer, it was exactly what I wanted to do. It's a good transition from all the R&D and typical research kind of masters that the regular biotech master's program offer to a combination of science, business, and engineering, which KGI offers. And it helps you do that transition from taking science and how to commercialize into business opportunities. And it kind of trains you for that. And you can really apply that when you move to the industry in a business setting, rather than just being a scientist that the other programs offer. So that's how KGI is differentiated.
From your time here, is there a course in particular that stands out as having the biggest impact?
Couple of courses. One is the IVD program from Angelica Neems, which taught the whole gamut of how do you come up with a new device, which it talks end to end about a device development, and which is broadly applicable to any industry in pharmaceuticals. And also the introduction to business of bioscience from Steve Casper. So that was another good class from KGI. Just looking at all those business cases and training yourself to how do you approach to a particular problem in the industry was very valuable. And those are a couple of things that I apply to still date at Amgen. So
turning towards the TMP, Team Masters Project, how did that impact your leadership skills?
Quite a bit, actually. I was the team lead during the second year of my Team Masters project, and I did a project for Biomarin Pharmaceuticals. All the aspects, the soft skills that I learned from my Team Masters project, being project management and how to cater to a client, all those skills that were directly transferable to my current position at Amgen. Even though you are in the organization, you still have internal clients and internal teams you have to cater to. And this kind of the Team Masters project was actually like a trial run to how you actually go about doing these kind of things when you're in an organization working with a larger group. So it's really useful, and something that I feel like a lot of the other schools should also try to do.
And as we wind down, last question, how did networking opportunities here at KGI play a role in launching your career and bridging that gap into Amgen?
It's a big part of the package that you get at KGI, the networking opportunities that you get. You tend to meet a lot of your alums from working in these companies like Amgen and Biomarin and all these other companies. One of how I got my job at Amgen is through one of my seniors who was a direct who passed out a year before me, and he kind of referred me for the position that I was started with at Amgen, saying that I would be a really good fit, and it turned out to be the right way. So the networking actually helped me get my job at Amgen, and I feel like it's something that a lot of students at KGI would leverage with this particular program.
Well, thanks for sharing the talk today with our students. I know they loved it, and we can't wait to have you back on campus and follow your success at Amgen and all the different paths and areas that you're impacting right now with them.